My lawyer told me repeatedly to relax and just tell them the truth about what I do. So I did.
In a country where, especially if you're young, you're not expected to be successful, or else, you see, that's why we have our ancestors still in power, because they don't have any respect or regard for the new generation. How dare he make so much money in a country as tough as Nigeria? He's a young man. He said they were saying that he is young. Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to my channel, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Sama. So I wanted to share this story with you guys. I came across it the other day. I was just here on YouTube and I saw this video and I watched it, and you know, when some people say the Lord said to me, I'm not going to come here and say I hear the voice of God and stuff like that. I believe that when I stumbled or something like this, you know, I always see it as a sign that I should make a video about it, that there is a reason why I was made to see it. That's how I feel about it. So I'm not going to say the Lord told me. I feel like that's God. God wants me to speak about it. Maybe that's why he made this video to come my way. So basically, this is one of our fellow YouTubers. I've never met him before, never seen him before. That was the first time I'm coming across his channel. So he talked about how he was basically locked up.
After taking my documents and other properties, including my MacBook, my email password, and logins for my YouTube channels, we returned to the EFCC's office where I was detained and locked up in their cell. I called for my dad to come as soon as he could. We started fighting for bail, but every attempt was knocked back. The zonal head told the investigating officer and my lawyer that he was ready to teach me a lesson. For what? I don't know till this day.
For making money on YouTube. I want to share it. When some people say, yeah, where do we share bad things about Nigeria? He's not my brother. He's not my child. I don't know him. But a story like this should not be buried. It should be shared. It should be shared. No matter what you think, it should be shared. What happened? This guy, he said he has been trying for a long time with whatever. I will let you guys, I'll put a link. You guys can check out his platform and you can hear the rest of what he had to say. But let me just briefly give you guys an idea of what the story is. His name is, let me find his name now. Jude Bela. Jude Bela. He's actually quite young, young, right? So he talked about, you know, Nigeria is tough and he has been finding ways to survive, ways to make an income. A friend of his, you know, introduced him to YouTube. Apparently his friend also has a YouTube channel, and his friend told him about it, and he started YouTube.
One day, I sat myself down and decided to learn whatever it was my friend was doing to earn himself money. This was when I was introduced to YouTube.
Initially, he said he got discouraged because nothing much was happening. And then eventually he took it seriously and something started coming out. And eventually he started getting, you know, good income, you know, reasonable income out of it. And he was beginning to do things with his life. And, you know, this guy was minding his business one day in his own house. And the bank rang him.
When the phone rang that morning, I was angry I didn't put it off before going to bed. But when I saw the name of the caller, my eyes brightened up. It was from the bank. I was wondering what could be so important that they were calling me that early.
For you guys to see how terrible that country is. We say the politicians are the problems, but the individuals are heartless. A lot, not everybody, but a lot of individuals are heartless. Somebody in the bank sat down and felt like this boy is too young to have this kind of money and decided to want to frustrate him because he is a young boy doing well with his life by using a platform to create content that are educational, informative, doing something tangible. He's not out there robbing people. He's not out there yahooing. And somebody from the bank rang him and told him that, do you have somebody? Listen to this, Listen to this. Do you have something with somebody else? I can't remember how they phrased it. You know, somebody, do you have somebody that is against you, or whatever way they phrased it?
Do you have a quarrel with anyone? The caller asked. I hesitantly said no, because I didn't know where this was going. Have you exchanged words with anyone recently? Please think carefully. Those were the words of the caller. So I asked, what was going on? And this was the moment I was informed that the EFCC has ordered all the banks to freeze my account and to arrest me should I visit any of the branches.
EFCC, my language, they will say, you cannot just put hand in the nose that there's one boy called Jude somewhere. He's making money on YouTube. Let's go and look for him. It's a lie. From the way he explained this story, somebody at the bank became too jealous that this young boy is doing well in a climate like that of Nigeria. And for that reason, this person decided to go and get EFCC involved. Because let me tell you, a bank cannot say they think his money is fraudulent. Do you know why? Because YouTube payment, there is a date for it. So if it is Yahoo, Yahoo money will be coming left, right, and center. You understand? If money is coming from the same people every single time, YouTube payment, it is obvious that the payment has a description. It has a description, and you will see the consistency of that income that is coming in. So it's not jaga jaga, it's very smooth. If as a bank worker, the fact that it is the same name, if you see the description, you will know that it's not anyhow description. Of, you know when I said description, you know when somebody gets money, there's a description of the person paying the money. Yet, the next thing, they told him to come to the bank. He didn't know that he was coming to the bank. They have arranged with EFCC to come and meet him there.
When we first got there, I saw some familiar faces from the banks. 3 of them, and I greeted them because they all knew me at this point. I didn't think it was any of my business what they had come to do at the EFCC. After all, they were a financial institution and this is the agency in charge of financial crimes. So I didn't read any meaning to what was going on. But there was more to it. I think I should have known because my lawyer whom I have come with to defend myself also represents one of the big banks that had frozen my accounts. In fact, one of our associates from her law firm was there that morning with some documents from the bank. I had no idea how connected it all was. At this moment, he brought out the documents that my banks had submitted to them that morning. It was at this moment it made sense to me. Like, my banks were here just this morning with all of these papers, and now they were in on all of this.
But long story short, this boy was locked up by EFCC for making money on YouTube. They've asked, he said, told them, no, I make YouTube videos. All they needed, if truly they believe he was doing fraud, all they needed was proof. They asked him for his YouTube account. They logged into his YouTube account. They took his password and everything. They took his emails and everything. Invaded this guy's private life. Invaded his business. Came to his house and trashed his house upside down, searching for what? They took his computer. They took everything off him.
They turned everything upside down. Went through my wife's undies. It was embarrassing and humiliating. My neighbors stared at me like a criminal who had been busted at last. After taking my documents and other properties, including my MacBook, my email password, and logins on my YouTube channels, we returned to the EFCC's office where I was detained and locked up in their cell.
Let me tell you guys, the minute he told them that I do YouTube videos and this is my source of income, and he showed them proof that his money is coming from YouTube.
My lawyer told me repeatedly to relax and just tell them the truth about what I do. So I did.
That should have been the end of it. But you see, when some people see that you are making money in a country where, especially if you're young, you're not expected to be successful, or else, you see, that's why we have our ancestors still in power, because they don't have any respect or regard for the new generation. How dare he make so much money in a country as tough as Nigeria? He's a young man. He said they were saying that he is young. It's a crime now to be young and be successful. Because in Nigeria, if your father is not a politician, or your father is not a GO, a pastor, whatever, you cannot excel on your own as a young man. You have to be that you must have been somebody, or somebody's child. That is why you're wondering why the young are not allowed to grow in that country. They're not allowing the young to excel because there are so many ceilings placed against them. Or else the money they flow from your father. You must be the child of Dangote, or you must be a politician or somebody's son, a Mr. Nobody, a person that is a Mr. Nobody's child. How dare you rise? You're too young to rise. Locked him up for a long time. On top of all of that, this one, you see, when I talk, some people will say I did talk. A pastor got involved. Some people were ready. They were kind of conniving among themselves. Eventually, he decided to make it illegal. He decided to even sue them for unlawful lockup. He even, I'm not telling the story. I'll give you guys the link. You can go check out the story. But I want you guys to understand. Please actually subscribe to his channel. He's been through a lot. Eventually, that channel, he lost it. And he has started from scratch. To be nice, if you guys can go check out his channel. I bet a lot of you will like what he posts and give him some support. Tell him I sent you. Let's go show him, those of us that are not the wicked EFCCs, those of us that are not these wicked people in society, let's go and show him support and say, we stand by you. We you know, those through that support, that there's still some normal people among us Nigerians. Eventually, he even said a so-called pastor that got involved now started telling him to, basically was telling him to bribe those people, so they, because they now eventually from him, they now want him to like give them some money so they can close the case.
First, it was an agent from the EFCC's office visiting me in my house and advising me to settle out of court. I got a call from a man who claimed he was working at the EFCC's headquarters in Abuja and that they have heard about my case. He claimed he was one of those guys tasked with going through my laptop that was seized. So I asked him what he wanted and why he was calling me. He said they wanted to negotiate with me what I would offer them to get my accounts released and my properties returned.
At the end of the day, was from what he's describing, that was extortion. It seems that extortion was the plan from day one. The person that is even working in the bank that must have called the EFCC can be all about, this boy get plenty money, your own private money, your own kidney. This boy get plenty money, let's harass. It's possible. Come and harass him with your EFCC power, get something out of it, you give me my court. That is how corrupt Nigeria is. Because that's what his story looks like. That's what his story looks like. A so-called pastor, sorry, I don't want to forget this one. A so-called pastor came and got involved somehow. And this pastor was telling him to bribe them to close the case. He's not asking the pastor, wait, so you as a pastor, you're advising me now to bribe. He said, no, he just, you don't see it as a bribe. Pastor was beating around the bush like, it's like you don't treat it as a bribe, you treat it as a gift. Give them a gift so that the case can be closed.
But the next one to come shocked me. I was approached by a so-called pastor who said he had people higher up there that would talk with the zonal head and force his hands. According to this man, all I had to do was tip the men something from my funds that were held up and that they would jump into action for me. So I asked him if he was advising me to really go out there and bribe someone, a pastor. And he said no, that it was just like an appreciation.
If I talk about pastors here, people will say no. So we can stay here now and say the bank workers that went to, what's it called now? Went to hand him over to EFCC, right? We can stay here and say what they did is wrong. And we can say what EFCC did is wrong. What that one did is wrong. But when it comes to the pastor part, we'll say, no, touch not my anointed. Because that's what some people want us to say. A so-called pastor was basically encouraging him to bribe. And you wonder why Nigeria is the way it is. You wonder why it's like this. I made a video not too long ago, and I was talking about corruption in the country is in almost every sector. Is in every sector. Because somebody claims to be pastor doesn't change anything. A lot of people, including a lot of pastors, are used to, because they're not supposed to be called pastors really, are corrupt as well. I saw this boy's story. I didn't want to make my one too long because I want you guys to actually check out his video. I'm going to put the link in the description box and you guys can watch it and hear from him yourself and see what this young man went through. Young man that chose the right path in life. He could have chosen anything else, but he chose the right path to do a legitimate job of creating content. Very good content. I've watched some of his videos. He's bringing out so much information. Very educational videos. Doing that, they went and picked him up. The politicians that have been embezzling Nigerian public fund, they know they go pick them. They are still free. Nigerian mega pastors that are milking the individuals dry. Some of them have been mentioned about so international fund, so international fund. EFCC has never investigated any of them. A young man that is trying to rise out of nothing. They feel like, how dare you rise? You see, how dare you rise? That is basically the message I got from this. How dare this boy rise? And you wonder what we talk about, why we talk about the problems in the country. anyways, I didn't want, like I said, I didn't want to say this, make this video too long. To be honest, the reason for making my video is to create awareness about what this boy went through, this young man went through, and at the same time, I want to, you know, be a source of support for him. And I would ask you guys, check out. I don't like telling people go and subscribe, because you may say, oh, I don't like his content. So, but I believe his content. Most of people that watch me are people that are interested in educational content and informative content and stuff like that. I believe a lot of people will like the kind of videos that he makes, and I really wanted to use my platform to, you know, be a source of support to him. And check out his channel. You like what you see, please subscribe, and like I said, tell him that I sent you, and let's do this together, and just show support to one of ours. He's not a politician, not a politician's child. He's not a corrupt pastor's child. He's the everyday man like you and I. Please, the least we can do, show him some support, and just make him feel that he's not alone. That's just so people understand what he's been through, and they're ready to, you know, show a bit of support to him. I'll leave this video here. As always, whatever your opinions are about this, please feel free to leave them in the comment section below. And with that, I'm going to say thank you for watching. Until the next time, guys. Bye-bye. Bye.